Development Broadcasting.
Welcome to Housing TV News at the top of the hour, coming to you live from our studio in Abuja. I am Maimuna Bagudu. Our top stories these are: federal government infrastructure push to deliver 6,612 housing units in 13 states. No protests at Eagle Square as security forces crush protests in Abuja. Governor Abiodun declares Ogun State as an emerging economic powerhouse of Nigeria. Ayedatiwa grants clemency to 117 convicts in Ondo State. Governor Doye Dirin promises 1,000 housing units in 8 local government areas of the state, tackles water supply challenge. Emirates Airlines resumes flight operations to Nigeria after 2 years, and on the foreign scene, anonymous donor helps launch project in Venom. In sports, Libya resumed training to arrive in Nigeria October 7th. Now to begin the news. Nigerian security forces on Tuesday sealed off Eagle Square, a revered national venue, and dispersed a protest by the #Fearless in October demonstrators, escalating tensions between protesters and the government in the nation's capital in Abuja. The crackdown involving police and military personnel blocked access to the square, a strategic location near the National Assembly and Presidential Villa that symbolizes Nigeria's seat of power. The government's decision to seal off Eagle Square, despite not being used on Independence Day celebrations, raised concerns among protesters about their freedom of assembly and expression. The protest was aimed at highlighting Nigeria's economic crisis, with demonstrators demanding an end to poverty, hardship, and poor governance. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu inspected the Guard of Honor at the forecourt of the Presidential Villa as part of the activities to commemorate the Federal Republic of Nigeria's 64th Independence Anniversary celebrations. This marks Tinubu's second Independence Day as president. Unlike previous years, when the celebrations were held at Eagle Square, the current administration opted to host the event within the villa. This shift was first announced in October 2023 by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, who explained that the low-key observance was due to the nation's challenging economic situations. In Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, Governor Dapo Abiodun led other dignitaries at the low-profile 64th Independence Anniversary Parade held at the Arcade Ground in the state capital. Addressing the residents and visitors at the event, the governor declared that Ogun State is emerging as the powerhouse in Nigeria through deliberate policies aimed at implementing local initiatives to transform the lives of the people, as well as supporting federal government policies for national development. He called for a renewed patriotism, prayers, and a deep sense of responsibility as government at all levels find solutions to the current social-economic challenges in the country, while assuring Nigerians of a brighter future and economic recovery through critical reforms and initiatives. The governor, however, asked for more prayers and support for policies and programs aimed at economic recovery.
The federal government remains steadfast in its commitment to creating a brighter future for all Nigerians, ensuring that prosperity and their well-being prevails across the nation. We in Ogun State align ourselves with this beacon of hope. We are confident that together we will overcome adversity and build a strong and more resilient nation. It is important to recognize that nation building requires a collective effort. As the known author Chinua Achebe once said, and I quote, "Every nation must recognize and embrace the task it is peculiarly designed by history We must remain united, support one another, and be patient as we work together to navigate this journey. The President's economic policies are designed to foster long-term stability and sustainable growth, and they will require our collective commitment and sacrifice. The primary responsibility of any government is to ensure the security, welfare, and well-being of its citizens. We are fully aware of the current challenges and their impact on our people. Under the leadership of our esteemed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, the federal government has swiftly implemented bold and deliberate measures aimed at repositioning the economy and preventing us from bankruptcy. Instead, let us engage constructively and work with government, knowing that this is an inclusive administration that does not intend to unduly burden its citizens. Here in Ogun State, we are not just committed to supporting all federal policies, but also implementing local initiatives to improve the lives of our people. Under the Share mantra, our development plan focuses on infrastructure, social welfare, education, youth empowerment, and agriculture, thus positioning Ogun State as an emerging economic powerhouse in Nigeria. Our collaboration with public-private partners and ongoing governance reforms are beginning to signal our dedication to long-term sustainability and accountability. Our efforts are already yielding fruits.
Ekiti State Governor Biodun Oyebanji has expressed satisfaction with giant strides made by the state since it was created as a political entity exactly 28 years ago. Addressing the people of the state in a broadcast to mark the 28th anniversary of the creation of Ekiti State and the 64th anniversary of the nation's independence, Governor Oyebanji also hailed President Bola Tinubu for his unflinching support for Ekiti development since coming to power on 29th May 2023. Governor Oyebanji said Ekiti is grateful for President Tinubu's numerous interventions and approval of critical federal infrastructure in the state. Meanwhile, some residents of Ekiti State commended the President Bola Tinubu on the youth confirm, while others said Nigeria policy needs to be adjusted.
We are very proud to say Ekiti is a frontliner in education, life expectancy, access to quality healthcare services, physical infrastructure development, access to water, peaceful coexistence, ease of doing business, gender equality, social inclusion, among others. Gradually and assuredly, it is building a formidable profile of a progressive and development-oriented state that is poised for prosperity for all.
It's a speech of the president where he said they will assemble youths across the country for a confab to come and see, dialogue, and discuss the way forward in this country. It's better than protest, better than agitating for something that is not even worthy of doing so. A lot of people will lose their life, will go into protest, but whatever you have in mind, you want him to do. All of us, you come together. Let us put our brains together and address issue. I know he's a listening president.
They were begging our people to travel then. When you have your ID card, you have your ID card, what are you saying in your working place is enough for you as a passport to travel out of this country. Because our money as at then was okay. But today, thousands of our youths are dying on the desert because this place is no more okay for them. They were looking for green pasture. Our democracy has led to what you call neo-colonialism.
Aiyedatiwa of Ondo State has urged Nigerians to inculcate virtues that project honor, sense of mission, purpose, national pride, among others. Aiyedatiwa stated this on Tuesday in Akure in a message to commemorate Nigeria's 64th independence anniversary. The governor said Nigerians must have integrity, collective heroism, and undying patriotism. He added that Nigerians must refrain from escalating disruptive tendencies that portend hopelessness, despair, and failure. The governor also granted clemency of 117 convicts serving prison terms in the state in celebration of Nigeria's 64th independence anniversary. In a statement issued by the governor's chief press secretary, Ebenezer Adeniyi, the gesture was described as a transformative decision aimed at reforming the lives of those affected.
We have reasons to celebrate as a people. In the last 64 years, we have made remarkable progress in our nation building and socio-economic growth path for a better Nigeria by deliberately tackling and overcoming serious challenges that have threatened our unity and peace. This day marks a high point in the sanctity and sacredness of our nationhood.
Now, the federal government says construction work has started on 6,612 housing units to be delivered in 13 states and the Federal Capital Territory as part of its ongoing infrastructure development efforts. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Dengiwa, gave the hint in Abuja recently, explaining that the delivery of those housing units is aimed at addressing Nigerians' housing deficit, adding that it is a key component of the federal government's renewed hope agenda, just as it marks a significant step in providing affordable housing for citizens and boost economic growth. Dengiwa, in a statement, has also declared that Nigeria's 64th independence anniversary signifies the beginning of a new era of prosperity, urging citizens to view current economic challenges as necessary sacrifices for sustainable development. In Bayelsa State, Governor Doye Diri has promised that his administration will construct no fewer than 1,000 affordable housing units across the 8 local government areas of the state. The governor stated this on Tuesday in a state broadcast to commemorate Nigeria's 64th independence and 28th years of the state's creation. Diri also assures the provision of pipe-borne water in Yenagoa, the state capital, and its environs in his second term in office. He said his administration was committed to building a new Bayelsa where every citizen had access to quality education, affordable health care, and to create economic opportunities to improve the general well-being of the people. The governor, who noted it was his first broadcast to the state since his inauguration for a second term, expressed gratitude to Bayelsans for overwhelmingly re-electing him as his deputy. He expressed commitment to pursue development issues as well as address environmental challenges like soot pollution, flooding, and oil spillage that had plagued the state. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, yesterday searched some supermarkets and opened shops in some parts of Abuja. The agency said in a statement posted on its X handle on Tuesday that during the operation, which was based on intelligence reports from its Investigation and Enforcement Directorate, several unregistered and counterfeit cosmetics were seized. The statement was attached with motion pictures from the operation. The Post said during the raids, several unregistered and counterfeit cosmetics were seized with a total street value of 37 million naira. The agency noted that the development was part of efforts to rid the market of counterfeit and illegally imported cosmetic products in the nation's capital. Now, after 2 years of pulling out of Nigeria, the Emirates Airlines flight has returned to the country. The airline's aircraft landed at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, on Tuesday. Emirates stopped coming to Nigeria after its revenues totaled $85 million in August 2022, was blocked by the Nigerian government over lack of forex. At the time of filing this report, the funds have successfully been repatriated. Following several diplomatic meetings between the Nigerian and the United Arab Emirates governments, The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, also led a high-level Nigerian delegation to the United Arab Emirates on Friday to finalize negotiations ahead of the resumption of the airline's operations in Nigeria. The meeting also settled a new bilateral air service agreement between both nations to ensure stronger and mutually beneficial aviation ties. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has declared that his administration will not surrender to bare-faced blackmail while committing to consolidating on the gains made in ensuring the peace, advancing good governance, delivering more critical projects and sustaining the increase in the internally generated revenue of the state. The governor also commended President Bola Tinubu for his bold, dynamic and pragmatic economic reforms targeted at correcting the structural deformities of the past and ushering Nigeria into a new vista of sustainable economic growth and prosperity. Governor Fubara spoke during the 64th Nigerian Independence Day anniversary parade at the Government House Arcade in Port Harcourt.
Our faith and strength are in God, who will enable us continue to promote, protect, and defend the political and social economic interests of our dear state at all costs. I assure you that we will never surrender to bare-faced lies and blackmail from anyone, no matter how powerful he may be, but remain focused and rededicated to the interests of our nation, our dear state, and the cause of the good and peace-loving people of Rivers State.
He urged Nigerians to be thankful that God has endowed them with everything required to build a great nation where no one should ever be oppressed and where all should live in peace and plenty.
Despite the economic hardship and the social ill bedeviling our nation and striving its progress, we still have good reason to celebrate and be grateful to God as a nation and people. Let us also commit ourselves to work hard, to work hand in hand with the federal government to tackle the economic, social, and political challenges, including judicial terrorism, nepotism, corruption, and abuse of power that have diminished our democracy, staved our growth, and caused untold hardship to our people.
Governor Fubara assured that his administration will work assiduously to ensure the safety and security of lives and property while guaranteeing equal social and economic opportunities for all residents of Rivers State.
Our faith and strength are in God, who will enable us continue to promote, protect, and defend the political and social economic interests of our dear state at all costs. I assure you that we will never surrender to bare-faced lies and blackmail from anyone, no matter how powerful he may be, but remain focused and rededicated to the interests of our nation, our dear state, and the cause of the good and peace-loving people of Rivers State.
Let's take a pause here. More stories coming your way after this break. Stay with us.
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts. On Facebook, Housing TV Africa. On Twitter, Housing TV Africa. Instagram, Housing TV Africa. Join the conversation and keep up with latest housing updates.
Glad to have you join us back on Housing TV News at the top of the hour. Moving on, still in Rivers State, Governor Fubara has said that the 5th October 2024 local government election will be another opportunity for Rivers people to witness the rebirth of a new political structure that they can own. The governor made the assertion when he received on solidarity visit leaders and members of the Simplicity movement, led by High Chief Sobomabo Jackrich at the gates of Government House in Port Harcourt. Governor Fubara commended the group for their decision to identify with his administration and enjoined them to remain firm in their commitment as they synergize efforts at defending and protecting the interests of Rivers State at all times.
We must join hands together, everyone, even if it means joining our legs. We must protect our states. Yes. We must defend the dignity of our states. We must ensure that the commonwealth of this state belongs to everyone. Yes. That is why our slogan is Rivers First.
In his speech, leader and founder of the Simplicity movement, High Chief Sobomabo Jackrich, stated that having inaugurated the movement, their support for the governor was premised on his belief in the peace and progress of the state, stressing that the administration's focus on Rivers First was an inspiration to the group, which efforts to promote good governance were unshakable.
These people have teamed up to frustrate the government, and we know that the government has very good intention for the people of Rivers State. And so we, the people of Rivers State, from our end, have resolved that we are going to support you. We know you don't have the strength to fight, but we are going to fight for you. I mean, not be so talk. We know you don't even have the arsenal to challenge them, but we are the instrument they used earlier. So we are still available to be used. If we are to stand for good things, we want peace in the state, and that is why we have resolved, we've come together to say, you are our boss, and whatever you say is what we will stand for. Simplicity movement! Again, there is
Earlier, the CTC chairman of Ogubolo local government area, Evans BP, who represented the governor at the flag-off of the movement, assured Rivers people that supporting the governor will not be regrettable. Meanwhile, a freedom fighter popularly known as General Asabuja pledged his full support for Governor Fubara.
This Simplicity group will complement Simplified movement to ensure that we bring out all our people, the organic people. I know that everybody, all those who are here, you are not being paid. Are you being paid? No. This is organic support. It can only come out and stand under the sun, under the rain, to someone you love. Not be so.
For me, Sim is the best governor. Not be to they cause trouble for Rivers State. They work with some uniform people, they cause problem. They arrest innocent people, they frame them up. They declare me wanted, waiting I do. I tell the CP, tell them, show the thing what I do. Shall say the former chairman make them come out here. They never come out. Now their papa house. Now their mama house. See remain number one citizen. If she tell us, say, make we do a thing, we follow do a thing.
Now, the Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security in Osun State, Tola Fasheru, says the state is aiming to become top producers of cocoa, cashew, and other cash crops by following what Ivory Coast is doing to remain largest producers of these crops in the world. Fasheru, who was one of the guests during the 64th Independence Day special program on Tuesday, said Governor Ademola Adeleke is committed to returning Osun State to the pinnacle of agriculture in Nigeria. Now to the foreign scene. With the help of an anonymous donor, the new affordable housing project in Vernon is coming to fruition. The Okanagan Village Housing Society announced plans for the project, called A Place to Call Home, which will provide much-needed homes for local families, seniors, and individuals facing housing challenges. Located at 6545 Okanagan Landing Road, the housing was made possible thanks to a generous contribution from a donor whose commitment to supporting the community has enabled the society to move forward with this important initiative by purchasing the land. Chindi Masters, Executive Director at the Society, explained that a day does not go by without hearing story after story of people who are desperately looking for housing. In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, the Category 4 hurricane that obliterated neighborhoods from northern Florida to Virginia last week, one organization is stepping in to help hundreds of Americans who have been displaced by the deadly storm. Airbnb.org, a non-profit that places people in temporary homes during crisis, on Monday said it is providing free housing solutions for people across Florida and North Carolina. The organization is working in partnership with local non-profits and community services centers to identify those in greatest need of temporary housing. To wrap up the news of this hour, in sports, the Libyan national team reconvened on Monday to begin preparation for the October 11, 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying tie against Nigeria at Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, Uyo. According to Libya Al-Hara channel, the Mediterranean Knights had their first training under the leadership of their new coach, Nassar Al-Hadhiri, and his assistants Tunisian Akram Al-Hamami and Abubakar Harak in Tripoli. The team is expected to arrive in Abuja on October 7 before heading for Uyo for the clash with the Super Eagles. Meanwhile, Nigerian coach Augustine Eguavon has yet to name his squad for the double header, with the corresponding slated for October 15 at Matres of February Stadium in Benghazi. Nigeria made a birth start to the series with a heartwarming 3-0 win over Benin Republic on September 7th before battling Rwanda to a goalless draw in Kigali 3 days later, setting them atop Group D with 4 points. Libya bring up the rear with 1 point secured in their opening day's 1-1 draw against Rwanda at Matres of February Stadium on September 4th in Benghazi, before being edged 2-1 away to Benin Republic 6 days later at their adopted home ground. To wrap up the news of this hour, a quick recap of our top stories. Federal government infrastructure push to deliver 6,612 housing units in 13 states. No protest at Eagle Square as security forces crush protest in Abuja. Governor Abiodun declares Ogun State as an emerging economic powerhouse of Nigeria, and Ayedatiwa grants clemency to 117 convicts in Ondo State. Governor Doyedewin promises 1,000 housing units in 8 local government areas of the state, tackles water supply challenge. Emirates Airlines resumes flight operations to Nigeria after 2 years. On the foreign scene, anonymous donor helps launch project in Venom. And we also told you in sports that Libya resumes training to arrive in Nigeria October 7. For more news in the housing sector, subscribe to Housing TV Africa on YouTube and follow Housing TV Africa on all social media platforms. And do download the Housing TV Africa mobile app on Google Play Store and Apple Store to stay connected wherever you go. I am Maimuna Bagudu. Thanks for watching and bye for now.